Rapid Solicitors, sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Accident compensation and medical negligence claims.
And welcome to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show. This week we're at the Motorpoint Arena in Sheffield as the champions, the Sheffield Steelers, take on the league leaders, the Belfast Giants. It's the first time the Giants have returned to Sheffield since their controversial loss in December, live here on Sky Sports. Coach Doug Christensen will be hoping this time around things go a little smoother. We'll be showing you all the highlights from here in Sheffield as well as the rest of the action from around the league. I'll also be discussing the race for the title with Dave Simms, but first up it's the Challenge Cup. Who will face the Nottingham Panthers in the final? Will it be the Belfast Giants or the Cardiff Devils? Well, let's find out. Here's Chris Ellis.
Not just league points, but also a cup final place against Nottingham on offer here. And it was the visitors, 2-1 up from the first leg, who had a great start. Stuart McRae assists to Van der Beeken. It's McRae's 16th of the season. And the Cardiff Devils were leading on aggregate by 3-1 and then 1-0 on the night. But power play time for the Belfast Giants. Dobbin is in the box for slashing. And watch how they work this goal. Peacock and Dowd and Pele were very much involved. Watch Dowd there first of all. He moves to one side to allow Pele also in the picture. The three of them worked hard on this shift, but it wasn't just them involved, as you'll see. I count 16 passes on this whole power play. It is a real masterclass on how to score a power play goal. And the final touch comes in front of the net from John Pele. Delight for the Belfast Giants. It's 1-1 on the night and 3-2 on aggregate, so it means it's just a one-goal game in the cup tie, and the Odyssey Arena is happy because the two sides are level. There was, though, more goals in the first session. A giveaway here, right onto the stick of Dowd. He gives it to Peacock. Not sure how Aaron Clark got the other assist. He was standing in front of the net. But that then is 2-1 on the night, and we're all tied on aggregate at 3-3. A lovely goal to put the home side ahead. A booming goal from Robert Dowd. 3-1 on the night, 4-3 on aggregate. The tide is really turning in the Belfast Giants' favour. They can sense Nottingham in the Challenge Cup final for the second year in a row. Into the third session, and Dennisit goes down for the face-off. That's a clean win from Dennisit, back of course with the Belfast Giants. And that's a neat move. Involved with Rebeck and Mason to get it towards net, and Aaron Clark there with his 10th of the season. The league points were Belfast with a 4-1 victory and a place in the Challenge Cup final against Nottingham thanks to a 5-3 aggregate win.
So it's a Nottingham-Belfast final, and Dave, before we go on to talk about tonight's game, repeat of last year for the final there in the Challenge Cup.
Huge games, isn't it, for both the Nottingham Panthers and the Belfast Giants, especially when you've only got 3 trophies to play for any season. Every final is a huge one, and of course the Nottingham Panthers have owned the Challenge Cup in the last couple of years, 2 successive wins. But for the Belfast Giants, I think it's probably going to be a bigger final for them and for their coach Doug Christensen. 2-year contract. He's got 6 chances to win something. He didn't win anything last year. We all know how close the league title race is this year. We know what a lottery the playoffs is. So this is Christensen's best chance of delivering a prize to Jim Gillespie and to Todd Kelman.
And of course, they're taking on the Sheffield Steelers tonight. Another chance for Doug Christensen to get that ever closer step to win that title.
Well, yes, and we all know how unhappy he was the last time you and I both saw him here in Sheffield. This is a big game and a little bit of animosity. Why is this rink, as empty as it is, so close to face-off? The reality is Belfast have been delayed. There's been a little bit of to-in and fro in Belfast, not telling Sheffield that they were arriving a little bit late, trying to play a few mind games. Christensen and Finnerty, there's a little bit of a a run over, I think, from that game. I sense a little bit of spice here tonight.
But we like spice, don't we?
We
Because
love
that's what
spice.
makes the games exciting. What do you think we can expect tonight? Will it be a rerun, do you think?
I think it will. I think it will be, Anna. I think this one's going to go right down to the wire. Will it go to overtime? Who knows? But it's going to be tight. I think both teams know just how important this game is. You know, the Sheffield Steelers have all these games in hand, so if they could knock off the Belfast Giants, it gives them a bit of breathing space. This is the second of 11 games in 23 days for Finity's side. So if Sheffield can win, it's huge. But if Belfast can win, it gives them a bit of breathing space. And Sheffield would then have to win all their games in hand to then get above Belfast.
Of course, because both teams have got a busy week ahead of them. You know, the Belfast Giants, they're taking on Nottingham twice next weekend. The Sheffield Steelers, they've got a really busy schedule ahead of them.
Every week, for the last 3 weeks, we've talked about the business end of the year. This is the business end of the year. And these 3 games, especially for the Giants, against Sheffield and then against Nottingham and Nottingham again, they will define the Belfast Giants league season.
Okay, well, time now to get some more action. And 2 games from the Hull Stingrays. They kicked off their weekend on Friday at home to the Coventry Blaze, and then they came here on Saturday to Sheffield to take on the Steelers. Now, if you are a Hull Stingrays fan, you might want to look away now. Here's Chris Ellis.
The first game of the weekend saw Coventry go into Hull, and was this the first goal of the night? No, kicked in. One of 45 shots by the Coventry Blaze on the night. A very, very busy first period as well for Christian Boucher. He had 21 shots on goal. First goal, a rebound. That for Owen, a 14th of the year. 1-0 Coventry at 15-14. Now, rebound goals became a thing of the game, really. Here, saved. It's not dealt with by Boucher, and Fossey scores his first of the night at 17:30. So that was 2-0. Now, only 24 seconds later, McLean. This isn't a rebound goal, a lovely goal. One-time shot in the slot, and Nylander gets his first goal for the club. 3-0 Coventry, end of the first period. It really was one-way traffic. Into the second session, and we have power play time. Clever move from Weaver to set up Krall. That is 4-0. 5-on-3 power play. Start of the second session. It is all going the Coventry Blazers' way. Neat move in the second session. From this time, Guthrie and Farmer setting up Fossey for goal number 5 for the Blaze. Guthrie with that assist. He now goes third in the Elite League's point scoring chart. Finally, at the other end, goal for the Stingrays. Cloutier driving the net, and that made it 5-1. 5-1 to the Coventry Blaze. But finally, the Stingrays fans had something to cheer about. Now, 2 players pair off. Silverthorne and Krall. They're thinking, they're talking, and Silverthorne takes matters into his own hands. Cloutier is pulled away, rather wisely, I think. Let the 2 of them get on with it. Krall with some jabs, really, like a boxer with his right, but then over the top comes Silverthorne. Nice fight, that. 5-1 game, though. Could the Coventry Blaze make the pressure on the scoreboard tell? Well, Wood's shot is tipped in by Fossey. That is a hat-trick goal. This one on a power play too. It's 6-1, the tip there, making that the 6th goal. Coventry, neat move from round the back. Nylander gets his second of the night. So does Strom and McLean with the assist. So that's 7-1, 5:38 into the third session. And then a lovely move in front of the net from McLean and Krall, making it 8-1. It really was one-way traffic. That was the cue for a change in net, and Andy Brummett went into the Hull Stingrays net. Adam Goss went in goal for Coventry and conceded just once from 10 shots. That one to McKinney. Final score, Hull 2, Coventry 8. Snow fell in the UK last weekend, and Yorkshire and the Midlands bore the brunt of it, but nearly 4,000 people braved the weather to go to the Sheffield Arena. Of course, the Steelers looking to close the gap on leaders Belfast, and they went ahead. Lovely pass through the middle, and that's Matt Stevenson, the defenceman, jumping onto the play. A 6th goal of the season on the breakaway. The assist going to Huttle and Fulgham. What a finish from Stevenson. And in the first period, 4:29, those Steelers fans who braved the snow, they were rewarded. There was only 1 goal in the first session. As you'll see now, those things got a little feisty. It already came out of nothing, just a few players on the boards there. Not much going on. The camera, though, then sees that these 2 players are having a talk. Huttle it is. and McKinney. The two of them drop the gloves. The linesmen think about breaking it up early, but they don't. And it is McKinney who goes first, then Huttle with some big rights. The two of them standing up well to each other. McKinney's shirt just goes over his head for a time, and two of them really landing big bombs on each other. That was a good man-to-man fight, a tough fight between the two of them. They stood up to each other, and of course they were to get 5 minutes each for fighting. Not many penalties actually in the game at all, and they were to sit in the box. A good fight there in the first session. Into the second session then, and a shot at one end from Davis. Jeff Woolhouse in the Steelers goal there. But look, a combination of Ramsey and King, and there's only one place that puck's going, and that's in the back of Christian Boucher's net. That was a good goal from Legree, well worked by the Steelers, and 47 seconds before the second interval, it is Sheffield Steelers 2, the Hull Stingrays 0. Nice finish, as you can see on that replay once more. Now into the final session, and was there going to be a dramatic finish? Empty net situation, the Stingrays were gambling, but it wasn't to be. Into an empty net for Luke Fulgham, Huttle getting one assist, and Jeff Woolhouse with the other, who also posted a 30-shot shutout. Final score, Sheffield 3, Hull 0.
Dave, a big couple of defeats there for Hull, a really tough weekend for them, and in fact, not a great season, has it been so far?
I'm fed up of repeating myself time after time after time on the Hull Stingrays. You know what, they had 750 fans in their building, new fans, first-time Stingrays fans on Friday. Put a show on, put an effort on, give it something. They lost to a Coventry Blaze team that has been struggling itself. I'll give them credit. On Saturday, I saw them play here. They put an effort in. They went down 3-0 to the Sheffield Steelers. It wasn't a great night. But it's at home where you have to show some character, where you have to show some identity. Yes, they've got some problems. There's no Tengler now for them for a while. So they've got a lack of goal scoring. But they've got to show something to those people that keep paying the money to watch them in Hull. It's very disappointing.
Still a nice win for the Coventry Blaze, and boy did Paul Thompson need that win.
Well, he's had an adrenaline boost in a guy called Peter Nylander. Pistol Pete, they call him in Coventry. He's an older guy, but he's played at the very highest level. A very classy individual. And he's giving some of the other top-end guys in Coventry a little bit of support now. So hopefully better times for the Coventry Blaze, but they needed that as well. They needed those couple of wins.
They certainly did. Well, time now to take a break, but stay with us as we've got plenty more action coming your way from around the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League. And Dave will also be talking to the man he's dubbed Under Pressure. See you soon.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. This week from the Motorpoint Arena in Sheffield,
where we have our eyes firmly fixed on the top of the Elite League standings. First place Belfast taking on third place Sheffield. Let's though take a look to see how the second place team, the Nottingham Panthers, got on Saturday night. They were at home at the NIC taking on the Dundee Stars.
Five Flyers went into this one with 3 wins in 6, and one of those was a shootout loss, so 7 points in that time. They were a confident side, and no surprise maybe when they took the lead. Hart Manis with his 9th goal of the season. Well worked there, and the assist going to Bakralik and Maxwell. So that was 1-0 at 7:29. Coventry had a chance here to break into the offensive zone, a defensive slip, and Griffin setting up Fussy. How did he miss? I think Boucher put him off, but that was a great chance to level the scores. But once more, the Blaze came forward in droves. Great work from Farmer, setting up Cowley to get his 2nd of the season. Just before his testimonial game, in the weekend leading up to it, he scores a lovely goal. Well worked from Farmer for 1-1. Weaver from the blue line made it 2-1, 13 minutes and 3 seconds into the second session on the power play. And then Owen, at the start of the third session, a solo goal, a neat move, made it 3-1. And Coventry Blaze were certainly looking good for the points at this stage. They kept on coming as well. That's a good move and finish from Fussy, a 30th of the year, right in the slot from him. So that was 4-1, and the game well and truly turned on its head. Guthrie then, lovely move from him into the offensive zone. Rebound is there, and Fussy scores a second of the night. That was another good move. Once more, it's the players creating it that really are looking good for the Coventry Blaze. That was 5-1. Is there going to be time for another goal? That's a save from Zemlak. On his way to 49 shots he faced, but he was on the losing side. Final score, Coventry 5, Fife 1. Nearly 4,000 people braved the snow in Nottingham. It was bad when they arrived at the arena. It was worse when they left. Public transport had ended. Cars were snowed in car parks. People reported going 2 miles in 2 hours to get home. Nottingham, though, in the ascendancy in the first period. 15 shots on goal. One there from Jordan Fox, a chance for him. Nottingham had great chances in that session, but Dundee too. 11 shots on goal for them. It was a lively opening session. Captain Danny Myers for the Panthers turning defence into attack. Coming away right-hand side is Fox, away from a man on the boards, away from Hutchins, away from another defenceman and the netminder. What a solo goal. Getting used to those goals on the Nottingham Panthers supporters. And that is 1-0 Nottingham, 3 minutes and 12 seconds into the game. Clark coming forward right-hand side. Pad save. Clark then tries to bounce it off the back. Comes to Lee. Save again. Clark right there for the rebound. Johnny on the spot. 9:39 gone. 2-0 Nottingham then. Then an injury to Chalmers. He was helped off the ice by Bruce, and Hutchins took a blow to the knee with the puck, so he was to play no further part in the game. Unfortunate for him. Giveaway then by Lapine in his own zone. Kyle Bruce with the chance, but the door was shot by Craig Kowalski to keep the scoreline at 2-0. Nottingham, as I say, were creating chances, but also Dundee were looking lively, and you had to think that they could score. They certainly had chances in front of the net. Traffic there in front of Kowalski, but then look, 2 chances for Hutchins. On the second one, he thinks he's scored, but he hasn't. Kowalski making the save once more. This pressure was always going to tell, though, for the visiting side, and a good face-off win there by Hutchins. And you see, through traffic once more, the first goal of the night for the Dundee Stars. Conkle with his 15th of the season. That's 2-1 then. We're still in the first period. Nottingham coming forward with Matthew Myers. A good move with Reinanen as well. Certainly their puck possession was good. Beauregard once more. Reinanen. Nielsen's shot, and it's going to fall nicely for Beauregard, but he can't get his shot away. So Nottingham creating the pressure once more and looking for another goal. In the meantime, Dundee coming forward. Left-hand side, looking to make it a 2-2 game. They're certainly working hard, but then the pass from Nielsen comes to Francis. He's the short-handed specialist. His 3rd short-handed goal of the season, a 16th goal in all. So Nottingham led by 3-1 at the end of the first session. Second session saw Nottingham outshoot the Stars 15-7. Not such offence in that period for the Dundee Stars, and they moved it around nicely once more. Benedict and Levers setting up Guy Lapine as 7th of the year, just past the midway point. That's 4-1 Nottingham, and they're certainly looking good for the points. Kowalski makes a save there. It loops up and over him. Danny Myers makes sure he goes in and freezes the puck for Kowalski. After that, there was a few players having words. Kalanis and David Clark sort of looked like they were going to pair off. Linesman getting in between the two of them, and that one came to nothing in the end. So Nottingham leading by 4-1 at the end of the second session as the snow continued to fall outside of the arena. Nottingham on the back foot though. Dundee looking lively at the start of the third session. That takes a deflection, and Dolan gets a 13th goal of the season. 47 minutes and 7 seconds gone in the game. It's a 2-goal game, and Nottingham just need to get that cushion once more. Clarkham to the offensive zone. That one's ripped by Francis. Comes behind the net. Francis is still there, but it's Clark who it bounces out nicely for. Left circle. He celebrates a 29th of the year, a 2nd of the night. Then Stevie Lee in possession. Benedict, Clark touch in front, hat-trick goal, 30th of the year. Nottingham wrap at the points. Panthers 6, Dundee 2.
Well, disappointing results for fans of the Dundee Stars and the Five Flyers, but their big games is still yet to come. A little later on in the show, we'll show you highlights of their second Scottish derby against each other in as many weeks. But time now to hear from Doug Christensen and the man, of course, who is there to grill him, Dave Simms.
Doug, you've only just arrived here at the Motorpoint Arena. It's not ideal preparation ahead of such a big game.
Well, it's obviously not the way you drew it up, but at the end of the day, you got to get on with it. We can make excuses, we could do all that, but 60 minutes hockey will decide it, and we're prepared long before we got here, so it's just a matter of the guys getting their bodies going and getting ready to go.
It's absolutely a huge game, isn't it? Just talk us through what it means for the Belfast Giants to come into this building and win in here tonight.
Well, we're a desperate hockey team with all the games in hand that the team of destiny has had. 10 overtime wins out of 10. The most clutch player in recent history in the Elite League, and Jeff Legui. You've got all that factored against you, plus all these fans who are angry and bitter waiting for us. So we're just going to try and grind out a road win and be a little team from Belfast tonight.
You spent far too long in the airport lounge looking up all those stats. Tell us what the Belfast Giants have to do tonight to beat the team of destiny, as you call them.
Well, we got to get to the Carrow. We got to get to the loose pucks by the net. And of course, we got to shut down Legui. He's the most clutch player in the league, and we got to make sure that whenever he's on the ice, we've accounted for him and identified him.
Okay, you've brought Hoffman back into the Belfast Giants. First time we've had a chance to speak to you since then. What's he going to deliver to your hockey club?
Well, last night we scored a goal because of it. We had a goal disallowed because of him. He's a big body. He goes to the net. You can't see around him. We see a lot of good goaltenders the next couple months now in the Challenge Cup final against Kowalski. You got Takaro. We need guys who can get to the net, get the dirty goals, because that's what really is going to decide games right now.
This is the business end of the year, Doug. It's the exciting time, isn't it? It's what people live for in our sport.
It's absolutely fantastic. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Love what I do. We all have a passion for what we do in our room. So do you guys in yours. That's what it's going to be a great night of hockey.
Okay, enjoy.
Thanks.
So a calm, cool and collected Doug Christensen there. As always, I wonder what will make that man sweat. Who knows? Well, not long till face-off here in Sheffield, but just about enough time to show you some more highlights. Here's Chris Ellis.
A battle between two sides jostling for position in mid-table, and what a thriller it was. 75 shots on goal throughout the game, and here's one of them for Jade Galbraith into the offensive zone, and Stevie Lau does the rest to keep the scoreline at 0-0. But Braehead had a good period. They outshot the Cardiff Devils 16-13, and they looked confident going forward. Time after time they were creating chances. In the first period it was very open, and here Bannister comes forward right-hand side. Deflection off the defenceman, and the Braehead clan lead by 1-0. 9 minutes and 1 second gone. It is the visitors in front. Chance for Galbraith right-hand side. He's denied, so it stays at 1-0. But Galbraith, well, he was to play a big part in the game. At the other end, chance for McRae out in front of the net, and Phil Hill. They couldn't find a way through. Started to get a little bit feisty. Players from both sides getting involved, but just a bit of push and shove, really. No real damage done. So 1-0 in the first period still, and the period was coming to a close. Cardiff Devils coming forward, left-hand side. But wait, the visitors was Kristanovic, and then to Galbraith, breakaway. It's 2-0. 2-0 to Braehead clan at 17:48. And less than 1 minute later, Cardiff trying to come forward right-hand side, but the clan again break at speed into the offensive zone. That is great work, first of all, there from Lee Mitchell. And it is Galbraith, right-hand side, through traffic, 3-0. 18:31 the time of that goal, a 3-0 first period lead, and certainly it is the home side who are up against it. They did score in the second session, 6:07, a rebound for Jeff Pearce, a 24th of the season, so 3-1. And then into the offensive zone come the clan. And in front of the net there's a coming together. Kenton Smith and Campbell, the two of them just having words and push and shove. Referee Michael Higgs giving them both 2 minutes each for roughing, calms down the situation. So at this stage 3-1. It doesn't look a way back really for the Cardiff Devils, but it's still early doors second session, and they certainly got a lot of fight, and they're great in this barn, aren't they? And one end of the ice to the other from Cardiff. Player coach Gerard Adams into the offensive zone, and somehow that one goes in, a 5th of the season for Adams, and 2:48 into the third session now. It is suddenly a 1-goal game. So Cardiff right back in it, and looking likely now. They've got the momentum. That one goes in. Jeff Pierce, a 25th of the season for him. 45.09 the time of that goal. A complete turnaround. We're tied at 3-3. We're not even halfway through the third period at the moment. And Burrows and Davis, they're working hard behind the net. It comes out in front, and the man in the slot is Dobbin, a 13th of the year. It's 4-3. So from 3-0 down, the Cardiff Devils lead by 4-3. They think they've got it in the bag. The netminder is pulled. The Cardiff crowd are chanting. They think they have 2 points in the bag, but the touch there is from Galbraith. Mitchell and Jorgensen getting the assist. 31 seconds to go. 4-4 to the shootout. Galbraith, he misses. Kenton Smith, he scores. So 1-0 in the shootout. Then at the other end, it's a miss. Oh my word, a miss for Krestanovic. But can Pierce score? No, he puts it wide. So Brock McPherson denied by Lyle. Mark Richardson can win it. Comes at speed. Richardson, no, tries to go across the body. Galbraith, he won't miss twice. Backhand move once more. The pressure is now on. The pressure is now on. Kempton Smith, he misses. And the extra point goes to Braehead. Cardiff 4, Braehead 5.
So Dave, a man there in the Cardiff Devils we have to talk about today, because Sunday the 5th of February, a very sad day for Brad Voth fans. It's his last day of hockey.
Well, the Cardiff Devils fans took Brad Voth to their hearts, and quite rightly as well, because Voth gave everything he had to the Cardiff Devils. Without a doubt, the biggest character the Elite Ice Hockey League has ever had. And
literally.
Well, literally, yes. He's a huge man, a huge presence, and a huge character. And ticket sellers around the league love Brad Voth. The marketeers, the journalists, people like ourselves. Yes, sadly, he will be missed.
He certainly was a crowd favourite, but he did have his darker side though, didn't he?
Oh, didn't he ever? Brad Voth was one of those controversial characters. He played very close to the edge. Sometimes he went well over the edge as well, which made him so controversial. It's why he sat out all the penalties and suspensions he did. And whilst the marketeers and the ticket sellers will miss him, there's an awful lot of players around the Ice Hockey Elite League that won't miss him one little bit. But we'll say our farewells. He was a great character for us.
And of course, the only ice hockey player so far that I've had to interview sitting down.
We all remember that one as well. Well, I'll tell you what, one person who remembers Brad Voth from his first year in junior is also a player that played with him in Cardiff last season. And he is the Sheffield Steelers player coach Ryan Finnerty. And before tonight's game, I caught up with Finner and we started off talking about the Lord Mayor of Cardiff, the Vothmeister. Just a quick word on Brad Voth, Ryan, his retirement. You've played with him. Mixed emotions. I would imagine the fans will hate him not being around, but there'll be some players pretty relieved.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I had the privilege of playing with Voth in junior, our first year pro, and then again in Cardiff. So, you know, it's a big loss for the league, huge loss for Cardiff, and you know, I think he definitely put a stamp on UK hockey, and love him or hate him, you know, he built, I think, the Cardiff Devils in the Elite League era, and you know, you got to respect the guy for all the hard work and the dedication he's shown to that organization.
Huge game here at the arena tonight. It's delayed a couple of hours. It's kind of messed up Belfast and your own preparation. How have you coped with the 2-hour delay?
Yeah, obviously, you know, the delay isn't ideal, but it's for both clubs. I mean, they're traveling, trying to get here as quick as possible. So, I mean, the guys, you know, we just kind of push everything back an hour or two. You know, guys got here a bit early, but that's okay. A lot of time to stretch out and get ready, and I mean, the guys are pretty focused for this game.
In the context of the league, how big a game is this?
That's a huge game. I mean, it's a massive game. You know, we're chasing them. They've been at the top all year, and we gotta collect points where we can. So it's a massive game. You know, I don't want to say a must win, but the team that comes out of here will definitely have an advantage going forward.
And just finally, some keys tonight. What do you have to do well to beat the Belfast Giants?
I think we just you know, we got good depth. We got to cycle their D-men. We got to shoot a lot on Murph. You know, we got to penetrate the zone with speed and make them play in their own end, because they're offensive. They got some good offensive talent. If we can make them play in the D zone a lot more than they're in the offensive zone, I think you know, we'll have some success tonight.
Okay, time now to take a break, but make sure you stay with us, as coming up we've got all the highlights from the game here in Sheffield when the Steelers take on the Belfast Giants. Don't go anywhere.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Hello and welcome back to the Rapids Lists Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. So we've heard from both head coaches and it's not long till face-off here, but of course before any hockey can be played here tonight there's one thing I have to do, and that's of course ask you, Dave, who's your money on and why?
Well, I think the Sheffield Steelers are going to win, Anna, and I'll tell you for why. They've won 9 games on the bounce. They've only lost 1 game here at the Motorpoint Arena. Belfast are delayed. They've been sat in an airport. They've had huge travel. Yes, Sheffield are inconvenienced by sitting in their own dressing room, but I'd rather be sat in my own dressing room than I would be in Belfast Airport or on the bus trying to get here. This is a bigger game for the Belfast Giants than it is for the Sheffield Steelers. There's a tad of animosity. I'm going with Finity Steelers.
Oh, well, we shall see if Dave's right. Here we go then. Chris Ellis, take it away.
As massive games go, this was pretty massive. Belfast delayed into the arena, so a late start. Third against first in the Sheffield Arena. It was the biggest game of the season so far for both sides in their fight for the Elite League title race. And the Belfast Giants outshot the Steelers 13-4 in the first session. The Steelers also lost Ashley Tate. Shoulder injury there, trying to throw the hit. He's out of this week's action against the Coventry Blaze and could be out for a bit longer as well. So bad news for the Sheffield Steelers. Now, at one end, the Steelers throwing their bodies on the line to get the puck away from the goal. Then they break into the offensive zone, quite fluent as well, one end of the ice to the other. Involved here are Squires and Hewitt, and when the camera pans to the slot, you just see Luke Fulgham scoring a 24th goal of the season. 1-0 Steelers in the first session, just past the halfway point. Those Steelers fans have braved the bad weather, but they're celebrating. Good view from behind the goal, and you'll see from this angle as well. He finishes through the 5-hole. 1-0 Sheffield then in the biggest game of the season so far. Plenty of games like that though to come, I am sure, before the season is complete. Now, in the second session, Belfast coming forward. Sort of scrambling there is the netminder, and the final touches from Robert Dowd, criticised this week by the player coach of the Sheffield Steelers leading up to the game, Ryan Finity, and he scores on his return to Sheffield. Just gets the final touch. De Caro, well, he couldn't deal with it. Look, he holds on to it. Does he? No, it slips in. So the Sheffield Steelers concede. The Giants are level at 1-1. Now, a bit of feisty action here, players throwing their bodies on the line. What you will see, though, is Keith going to the box, and also Walton talks himself into a misconduct. Don't think the Belfast Giants too happy at that moment. So power play time for the Sheffield Steelers, just past the midway point of the second session. Not long after, actually, the Belfast Giants had levelled. Hewitt into the offensive zone. Rams is there. Colkin gets the touch. Is that over the line? The Steelers players are celebrating. Andy Carlson is right on the line. Goal is given. It's 2-1 to the Sheffield Steelers. From this angle, it's very hard to tell. In fact, you could say, look, perhaps it doesn't look like it crosses the line, but this angle, almost on the goal line, look, that's over. That is just over. The Belfast Giants just couldn't clear it. Unfortunately for them, it's 2-1. Now, Ryan Finity, the Steelers player coach, goes to the box for interference as the period is coming to a close. A bad time to take a penalty, the Sheffield Steelers, and they are about to concede. Shot from the blue line by Mason, a 12th of the year. We're level at 2-2. 13 seconds to go. You see Carson's arm is raised. There's another penalty. Legui is going to the box for cross-checking. So the Belfast Giants are going to start the third session on the power play as well. How crucial it turns out to be. Nice work from Craig Peacock. It's good possession of the puck by the Belfast Giants. They're keeping onto the puck, making Sheffield work. Out behind and then in front. The assist to Peacock and Dowd, and Pele's 17th of the year. It's 3-2. So they've come back from behind and they score right in front of the net there. Disappointment you can see on the Steelers' faces. So it's 3-2. And then 35 seconds later, the attack is broken up at one end Good chance for the Steelers just out in front there, but they are racing forward, and one of them is Big Hoffman. On his return, of course, he scores. He's only been a Giants player for a weekend. He makes it 4-2 with his first goal since returning to the club. Look at him come into the offensive zone, the big presence that he is, and he scores past a Carrow. Good finish for the Belfast Giants, and they're going to take this game, but not before the Sheffield Steelers have some chances on net, and they're going to really be in the ascendancy for the latter part of the period. Shots coming in on Stephen Murphy. Only 6 of them, but they were good chances. Luke Fulgham coming forward once more. They need to get towards the net. Phillips is driving towards the net, but Murphy once more stands tall. It's a great win on the road for the Belfast Giants. They stretch clear at the top of the table. Final score, Sheffield 2, Belfast 4.
Ryan, would it be fair to say that you were second best tonight?
Yeah, I think we got outworked. They came hard and we didn't have an answer for it. And we didn't play well. We didn't make the plays we needed to get out of our zone, and we just created more problems for ourselves. And you got to give them credit. They came in, they worked hard. That was their game plan, and it worked. So, it's our first loss in 10 or 11 games here. We've got a team that have won it before in the past. We just had a pretty big meeting in the room there with the guys, and I think we got to learn from it, and we got to come back strong.
Because the Sheffield Steelers started well, and they got that goal from Fulgham that set them off.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say we were never in the game. They came at us, they took it to us. The scoreline after the first was 1-0, but I felt that we were getting outworked. We were second to pucks, and it was a matter of time before their work ethic paid off for them. So and that's what happened. But it's frustrating. But at the end of the day, we're all accountable here, and my guys, nobody feels worse than anybody in that room right now. So we got to pick ourselves up because, like I said, we just tightened the race a bit.
Doug, you must be very proud of your team. They played a great game for you tonight.
I'm extremely pleased. I think the guys battled from the drop of the puck, the adversity that we faced today with the snow and the flight delay, but at the end of the day, it was about how our guys competed, and they did a fantastic job.
You said coming in it was a big game, a huge game, and these are valuable points. It wasn't for 2 points. That was a 4-pointer, wasn't it?
Well, it was big, and I think that both teams knew it. There was a sense of desperation on both sides. I thought for us to come in here, a tough building to play against a team that's extremely dangerous and hadn't lost since Christmas, we were up against it, and the guys really dug deep, and it is a 4-point game, but we still play them 3 more times, so nothing to be too excited about.
Well, for large parts of the game, you controlled it. Sheffield had trouble even just getting out of their own hand for large portions of that game.
Our forwards are tough to play against. I think the addition of Hoffman really helps us. It really showed tonight the way he can control the puck down low. So you got all of our little fast guys, and then you got to chase Hoff around. And I thought he was very effective. I thought all of our forward lines really competed and did a job.
A couple of power play goals as well, which always pleases coaches.
Yeah, our special teams have really been the key for us all year. We lead the league in power play and penalty kill. The guys work extremely hard on the kill. Unfortunately, we gave up one tonight, but Pell's getting that power play goal was crucial, not just from a score standpoint, but from a confidence point of view.
Was that 2-2 goal the key to score at the end of the second period?
Absolutely. Anytime you score a goal in the first minute or last minute, it changes the complexion of the game, and we got that goal tonight. DeCaro's a heck of a goalie, and we took away his eyes, and Mace made a great shot, and very, very happy.
So a win there for the Belfast Giants. Time now to take a break, but don't go anywhere. So we've got the last little bit of action for you from around the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Hello and welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports, where we've just seen the Belfast Giants take a convincing victory over the Sheffield Steelers. And Dave, it certainly was a convincing victory. It was a solid performance by the Belfast Giants.
Well, the Sheffield Steelers hung in there, didn't they, for 2 periods, but really it was only one team in it. They arrived late, but boy did they arrive with some intention, the Belfast Giants. And really from the first shift of the game and right till the last shift of the game, I felt there was only one team who really desired it, wanted it. And both coaches said before the start of this game, we're going to have to play desperate hockey. Well, one team did and one team didn't. And the Belfast Giants, I thought, were outstanding. From goaltender to forward to defenseman, everybody who played for them did Christensen a great job tonight.
Certainly did, and I know that from start to finish it was a great performance by them, but certainly in that third period, whatever Doug said to them in the dressing room in that second period break, because they came out here guns blazing, didn't they?
Well, I think that big goal, wasn't it, at the end of the second period when Belfast tied it at 2-2, and that was really the momentum point. Sheffield were hanging on, and once it got to 2-2, then Belfast just came in and they just rolled the steamroller straight over the Sheffield Steelers. It looked like Sheffield hadn't been together before. They couldn't string a 6-foot pass together, and that isn't the Sheffield Steelers that we've seen over the last dozen or so games that they've won. But the Belfast Giants, they really stopped Sheffield playing, then they played for themselves, and they deserved the 2 points. Convincing win.
What about some of the performances as well? I mean, Hoffman, he's not only a huge guy, but brilliant performance tonight.
I'm telling you, I've lived in smaller houses than Mike Hoffman, but Mike Hoffman did the job that was needed tonight. He got Pelly playing, he got all the Belfast Giants playing, and he led by example. What an acquisition he's been.
Well, Ryan Finnerty, Sheffield Steelers, he's not a happy man, is he? And just on an interview with him a few minutes ago, he looks gutted.
Well, he should be gutted as well. His team didn't turn up to play in one of the biggest games of the year, and he's got to go back to the drawing board. They've had a clear-the-air meeting, he was saying, held by the captains, and they probably needed that as well. Big reality check for Finnerty's team.
Certainly is. Well, time now to get your last little bit of action, and we're heading north to Dundee, where they welcome their arch rivals, the Fife Flyers, to the Dundee Ice Arena. Here's Chris Ellis.
A very important game at the bottom of the table. These two sides are trying to take the playoff positions away from Hull and Edinburgh. And what a start it was for one side in particular. Kyle Bruce, new boy, involved, and Dolan setting up McLean for a 13th of the year. 18 seconds gone. Fans were still buying their beers or tea and coffee if they didn't fancy some alcohol. On the next attack, into the offensive zone come the Dundee Stars once more. And Conkle, he's all alone in the slot. 56 seconds gone. The Flyers' defence might as well be in the bar. They're not on the ice. They're not performing. And before the 1 minute mark, it was 2-0 to the home side. Now, Flyers needed a response, and they get it on the power play. Tip in there from Seaman, the former player coach of the Dundee Stars. A shot from Maxwell. So it's 2-1 at this stage. Then, well, Zarb has a word with the Fife bench. Linesman gets tangled up there, really, between him and Wishart. So he falls to the floor. Gregor Mizzen take a bow. But for everything that went on there, Zarb goes to sit for a 10-minute misconduct. Now, that is a lovely move from Hutchins to Kalanis. Pulls the netminder out of position. That's 3-1 to the Dundee Stars. Look at the delight on their faces. They know how much that means. In the high slot is the player coach, Hughes. Brent Hughes makes it 4-1. A giveaway by the Fife defence. That was poor again. It's 4-1. So, the Flyers need to get back into the game. And who do they turn to? This is a good move from them. In front of the net, though, is Seaman, Stewart and Bakulik involved. That's 4-2 halfway through the game. So there's still a chance they can come back. Could they? Well, you'll see over the next few minutes. Somehow, that's perseverance. That's a good goal from young McIntosh, a 5th of the year for him. Into the third session now. Another good move finished off by Hughes. Final score turns out to be a thrashing. Dundee 6, Fife Flyers 2. Let's look back at last weekend's results, starting off on Friday when Coventry went into Hull and won by 8-2. On Saturday, it was a case of all the home sides winning. Belfast's 4-1 win over Cardiff not only gave them league points, but also booked them a place in the Challenge Cup final to face Nottingham for the second season in a row. Coventry easily saw off Fife despite the visitors scoring the first goal of the night, and the Nottingham Panthers had a good win over the Dundee Stars. Meanwhile, Sheffield and Jeff Woolhouse shut out the Hull Stingrays. On Sunday, the away sides fared better. Galbraith's hat-trick in a 5-4 victory, including the winning penalty shot as the game went to penalties. And then Dundee, the only home winners of the night, 6-2 in the battle at the bottom with that victory over the Fife Flyers. And Sheffield's home match with Belfast Giants, a huge game at the top of the table, saw the Giants win on the road and only the second team to win in the Sheffield Arena this season after the Nottingham Panthers. What's that done to the Elite League table? Well, the Giants go further clear. 7 clear of Nottingham, who didn't play on Sunday. Their game against Edinburgh was postponed due to the bad weather. It was Nottingham having problems getting up to Scotland. So, Belfast clear at the top. Sheffield 9 points behind now, the Giants, but they do have 6 games in hand. In the middle of the table, the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th is taking place. Coventry and Cardiff and Braehead, they're all fighting that one out. And then there's a battle at the bottom of the table. 4 teams still in the running for the final 2 playoff spots. At the moment, it's still the Hull Stingrays and the Edinburgh Capitals. But the Dundee Stars, of course, did pick up points at the weekend, but not so the Five Flyers. That battle, I think, is going to go all the way to the end.
So that's how the league table looks. Let's have a look at the fixtures coming to a rink near you this weekend. On Saturday, the 11th of February, Cardiff face Edinburgh, Dundee take on Hull, Fife take on Braehead, and it's the Panthers versus Belfast, and the Steelers, they face Coventry. On to Sunday, and it's Coventry v Sheffield, Edinburgh v Cardiff, Hull take on the Dundee Stars, and the Nottingham Panthers face the Belfast Giants. Moving on to the midweek games, and there are a few games on Tuesday the 14th of February, that's Valentine's Day. Sheffield face Nottingham. Wednesday the 15th is Cardiff v Fife. And finally on Thursday sees Dundee Stars take on the Sheffield Steelers. Well, Dave, we seem to be saying it a lot at the moment, but another big weekend at the top of the table there. Belfast, they've got a huge weekend against Nottingham.
Huge weekend. Those 2 games at the NIC, against the Nottingham Panthers. If Belfast can do the double over the Nottingham Panthers, I think that would see Nottingham perhaps out of the equation. However, if Corey Nielsen can get his team playing well and they can beat out the Belfast Giants, all of a sudden the Panthers become favourites again. But there's battles everywhere, Anna, at the top, at the middle, where Coventry and Cardiff are now battled. There's a point between them. And, of course, that fight for the playoffs. So every game in every rink in the Elite League is a big one.
And of course, on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, of course, where else would you like to be but at an ice hockey game, of course.
That's why I do the scheduling. I'm telling you, Anna, it's no other place to be, guys. Bring your girls to a rink near you on Valentine's Day. They love it, really.
Okay, well, of course, the place to watch all of those games is here on Sky Sports. Yes, you can see next week's show on Friday the 17th of February on Sky Sports 4 at 5:30 p.m. Make sure you join us to keep up to date with all the latest from around the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League. Well, that's just about all we've got time for tonight. Dave, I know it's not been the best night for you in terms of watching the hockey.
Well, you know what? You win, you lose, and this is what sport's all about. And there's a lot of hockey to be played, we've just said, between Belfast, Nottingham and Sheffield at the top. And I'm sure all 3 teams will fight it out, but not a good night for the Sheffield Steelers. Doug Christensen, I think he might have a little sherbet on that flight home.
That's what I love about you, always a nice sportsman.
Oh, you know me.
Well, thank you for watching at home. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Rapid Solicitors, sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Accident compensation and medical negligence claims.